The 2025-26 school year was just full of surprises at West Prairie High School. We've seen some surprising plays, we've seen surprising outcomes, we've seen surprising seasons for some of our sports teams, and that makes this top 10 so much more exciting as we wind down the 2025-26 school year with our annual West Prairie Top 10, and it starts right now.
There's no time to waste. I've got that lightning inside me. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made. This is how legends are made.
It was a rather tough season team-wise in terms of win and loss records for West Prairie boys and girls wrestling, but there were some special moments, and coming in at number 5 in our West Prairie girls top 5 to get things started, we have a very exciting match for one of our lady wrestlers. It was a lopsided win for the Northern New York Polar Bears right here at West Prairie High School against the Lady Mustangs. But one of the most exciting matches that we've seen all season, especially since we started broadcasting West Prairie Wrestling, this was a good one for West Prairie's Grace Schaefer. Now, Northern was running away with this match at the time. They had pretty much already won the team match. But did that stop the Lady Mustangs from going down quietly? Absolutely not. As the West Prairie Lady Mustangs, Grace Schaefer had a thrilling matchup against Northern, specifically against Riley Clark. Now, after 2 periods, the match was 6-5 in favor of Riley Clark. But then Grace Schaefer, boy, did she turn it around, starting with a bulldozing move for a takedown, followed by an immediate 4-point near fall to take the lead. However, restaying at neutral, Riley Clark later got a 3-point takedown for her own, and then she scored a 4-point near fall to take the lead. However, Grace Schaefer, while she was on her back, was somehow able to roll back over and get a 2-point reversal. We are tied at 14 apiece with less than 30 seconds remaining. So what can Grace Schaefer do on top? What she does best. Get her opponent on her back. If she had a little bit more time, she probably would have had a 6-point fall for the West Prairie Lady Mustangs. By the end, she got the 4-point near fall as time expires, and she walks away with a thrilling 18-14 victory against Northern's Riley Clark, and the biggest match that we've seen all season. And that comes in at number 5 in our West Prairie girls top 5. Now, for West Prairie field hockey, their season wasn't as spectacular as the 2024 season was. But you got to consider what made the season so much different. One thing for sure, they had a huge target on their backs as they were the defending state champions. But you had some of the best players in West Prairie field hockey from that season graduating a year later. And also, you had some of the coaches, like all the coaches, they weren't even on the team last year. So, it made things a little bit difficult for West Prairie to come back as the defending state champions. But still a pretty special season for West Prairie field hockey and for the Lady Mustangs. One thing that was historic that came in at number 4 in our West Prairie girls top 10 was another 100-point scorer. And once again, this is a young lady who still has 1 more year left for West Prairie field hockey. And that lady is Maddie Bell. Maddie Bell in a 9-0 win for West Prairie field hockey against Central Dauphin East at home. We didn't know exactly what goal was scored for her to get to her 100 career point, but she got it. And here's some of the highlights for that game against West Prairie field hockey versus Central Dauphin East. It was a 9-0 win, and we found out after the game with special pictures, you're about to see that picture here in a moment, that Maddie Bell did in fact get her 100 career point. She joins some of her former teammates like Shay Dyer, Jordan Byers, Autumn Albright, and now she is added to that exclusive list in a 9-0 win against Central Dauphin East. Congratulations to Maddie Bell, who is going to St. Joseph's University in 2 years, but still has 1 more year left for West Prairie field hockey. Her 100 career point comes in at number 4 in our West Prairie top 10. For West Prairie softball, it was another tough season for our Lady Mustangs, but they did show some improvement from years past. And one thing that we saw West Prairie softball do so well this season was hitting, especially when it comes to getting extra base hits. Now for home runs, yeah, there were a few of them, and there was one game in particular that had to be in the West Prairie girls top 5. It comes in at number 3 for West Prairie softball against Bowling Springs in what was a historic day for West Prairie softball, especially for the Kelly sisters, Ryan Kelly and Kerrigan Kelly. It was a lopsided win for West Prairie softball versus Bowling Springs, but it was so special to see a historic win for West Prairie softball. It all started in the first inning. Ryan Kelly, the catcher, had 2 home runs in the first 2 innings. The first one was in the first, a 2-run home run for Ryan Kelly in the first. Then she followed that up in the second inning with a 3-run home run, 2 at-bats, 2 home runs, 5 ribbies for Ryan Kelly. And then we forgot about the younger sister, Kerrigan Kelly. She was a freshman this past year. She was great pitching for Lady Mustangs as well as hitting. And she thought, hey, my sister just hit 2 home runs. Why am I going to join the party? Well, she did join that home run party in the 4th inning, a solo home run for Kerrigan Kelly that increased the lead for Lady Mustangs. West Prairie went on to win this game, and that comes in at number 3 in our West Prairie girls top 5. Ryland and Kerrigan Kelly each scoring home runs in a win against Bowling Springs. For West Prairie Athletics this past year, it was a tough season in terms of winning Prairie County championships. Overall, West Prairie Athletics has won 3 Prairie County championships this past year. The first one comes in at number 2 in our West Prairie girls top 5. And it was for West Prairie girls cross country. This was at Susquehanna, where Susquehanna boys dominated the boys championship race. And then 5 minutes later, the girls started their race at Susquehanna High School. And we figured that West Prairie would be close to winning a Prairie County championship this time around. But we had no idea they would dominate in this kind of fashion, especially for the first girl to finish in that girls championship race. That was West Prairie's own Lila Kretzing. 5 minutes after the boys started the race, the girls took their turn, and Lila Kretzing did so well. She actually caught up with some of the boys from the boys race. And Lila Kretzing, they went on to the state championship race, a 2-time state qualifier for West Prairie girls cross country, and in the Pico championship race at Susquehanna, Lila Kretzing dominated with a time of 24 minutes and 16 seconds. And like I said, she did catch up with some of the boys from the boys championship race. And that dominant performance led to West Prairie girls cross country winning the Prairie County championship, which was also the first for West Prairie High School that year. West Prairie boys and girls track and field also won the Prairie County championship in dominant fashion at Susquehanna High School this past spring. But the girls cross country championship comes in at number 2 in our West Prairie girls top 5. For our top moment for West Prairie Athletics on the girls side, we couldn't find a single moment other than a spectacular season for West Prairie girls soccer. You want to talk about how historic their season was? Yes, it did not end the way that the Lady Mustangs wanted to end. A tough loss for West Prairie girls soccer in the District 3 playoffs first round on the road against number 5 seed East Pennsboro, which was a thrilling game, 1-0 there. But before that, West Prairie girls soccer forget about a young team with some leadership from their seniors and just an overall good team. And how good was this team? 13 wins for West Prairie girls soccer, which ties a program record for West Prairie girls soccer. The West Prairie girls soccer team back in the fall of 2012 also had 13 wins before losing a tough one in the District 3 playoffs. But West Prairie girls soccer, most of their games were fairly close. A few 1, 2, or 3 goal games, a couple of lopsided ones for sure. But defensively, the Lady Mustangs were spectacular, especially when they have a freshman goalkeeper starting every single game in Sage Miller. And you want to talk about 13 wins? 10 of those wins were clean sheets, otherwise known as shutouts for other sports. But 10 shutout, clean sheets, whatever you want to call it, absolutely spectacular. And here's some of the highlights for West Prairie girls soccer. Just truly unbelievable, and it was easy to put them as the #1 overall spot, not just for a single game, but for an entire season. And West Prairie girls soccer, they know the goal is so much bigger than just 13 wins. They are still looking for that prestigious first ever win in program history in the District 3 playoffs. But with the team that they have, it could be only a matter of time. Congratulations to West Prairie girls soccer, the #1 overall spot in our West Prairie girls top 5. Now to start up our West Prairie boys top 5. And this was an historic moment that probably a lot of people didn't realize why it was happening. It was the last home game of the year for West Prairie boys basketball as they took on the Bakersfield Canners. Now, West Prairie boys basketball, this was senior night for the boys team, and it was such a lopsided victory. How lopsided was it? 71-35. And we didn't know at the time, but after looking over some research in previous years for West Prairie boys basketball, this was the largest margin of victory for West Prairie boys basketball since being Susquehanna in the 2018-19 Chuckadunk game, where that game was decided by 53 points, a 69-16 win for West Prairie Mustangs back in that season. But this was a 36-point margin of victory for West Prairie, the biggest since that season. In that game, the highlight player of that game against Bakersfield was the junior Ham Fleischer. He led the team with 24 points. Casey Sudge had 9 points in that win, and the senior in his last home game as West Prairie Mustangs scored 8 points in that win for West Prairie boys basketball. That comes in at number 5 in our West Prairie boys top 5. For West Prairie boys soccer, it was definitely an interesting season. 8 wins, 8 losses overall, 2 draws. But West Prairie boys soccer was definitely an exciting season for sure in this past fall. And for the boys soccer Mustangs, they had a program record 7 games go into overtime. They ended up winning 2 of them, but the last one that they won was truly special right here at Mustang Stadium in a tight matchup against the Shippensburg Greyhounds. Now for the Mustangs and the Greyhounds, they could not find the back of the net for more than 80 minutes, so we needed overtime. And the Mustangs wasted no time whatsoever. They only needed 4 minutes to find a golden goal. It was right here on the corner for Jai Sellers, and he kicks it in front of the net to find Jackson Bauer to get the golden goal and get a surprising win against the Shippensburg Greyhounds. Here is that golden goal. It's almost like a quarter. Here we go, 6.5 minutes and counting. And shot here, and this ball is loose. This ball is loose. There it is. Now, if you look behind me on the Boys Basketball 1000 Play Club, you'll notice there are not a whole lot of names. However, one of them has something that one of our players have in common. That's Jesse Urich, graduated in 2012. During his time in 2008-09 season, he had the freshman scoring record. 2 years ago, Casey Sudge broke that record, and now, exactly 2 years later, we have another player breaking that freshman scoring record for West Prairie boys basketball, and that young man's name is Mason Page. And how bad did he beat this record? It wasn't even close, as Casey Sudge had the record 2 years ago when he was a freshman, and now Mason Page. We found out how good he was at the gridiron down in Mustang Stadium, but we didn't realize he would be better at basketball, and that's exactly what he did. 336 points as a freshman. Absolutely unbelievable stat for West Prairie basketball, and he still has 3 more years left. Who knows? Maybe in 3 years' time, he could be joining that 1,000 point club banner. Who knows? I mean, 336, that's a lot. And that stat alone comes in at number 3 in our West Prairie boys top 5. For West Prairie football, along with the rest of our sports teams, we all know how hard it can be to win on the road. And coming in at number 2 in our West Prairie boys top 5, this was especially the case for West Prairie football. Now, West Prairie football, a much better season this past year, qualifying for a District 3 playoffs and coming in second in the Mid-Penn Colonial Division. However, West Prairie football, their biggest win, arguably, was on the road. and it was the homecoming game for East Pennsboro. Week 6 matchup, West Prairie football at East Pennsboro for their homecoming game. And it looked like all hope was lost for West Prairie football after being down by 2 possessions at the start of the fourth quarter. The score was 20-7 at the time. And we're thinking, oh man, it's like the West Prairie fans are getting quiet. We're all getting quiet on one side of the stadium. However, the fans woke up, and here's what went down. Fourth quarter to start, just 10 seconds into it. Adam Yoder got the big run for West Prairie near. 49-yard touchdown run for Adam Yoder to make this a one-possession game. Okay, so far so good. This game is not scoring for a little bit until 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter, where East Pennsboro, Colton Keys capped off a good drive for the Panthers with a 6-yard touchdown run to make it 27-14. And then here we go with the freshman quarterback, Mason Page. We never seen him play quarterback before this game. But Mason Page turned a lot of heads in a positive direction, especially for West Prairie football fans. Mason Page had a 21-yard touchdown pass to find Trent Huckenberry with 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining to make this a one-possession game. Okay, so now it's a 6-point game. And West Prairie football, they know they have to get the ball back, but they get it back right away with an onside kick from Drew Brandt. And the Mustangs have some momentum going. And so now, after getting the ball back, here comes the Mustangs' Evan Chupa with the game-tying touchdown run with less than 2 minutes remaining. And the Mustangs have tied up. Now, East Pennsboro knows they have to stop this extra point no matter what. And boy, did they try everything. I'm talking everything that East Pennsboro tried to do. First, they had too many men on the field. And so, okay, so they're going to decline that penalty and go for the extra point anyway. So now, East Pennsboro, they get enough players out there on the field. And they had all 11. And now, they tried to time the snap off perfectly. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. East Pennsboro was caught offsides. West Prairie declined every single one of them. Finally, Drew Brandt, he gets the point after a kick up, and it looks good. But wait a minute, dead ball foul on the Panthers. So now they have to do this again. And finally, the 5th time's the charm. Drew Brandt finally gets the extra point. Less than 2 minutes remaining, and West Prairie has a 1-point lead. East Pennsboro gets the ball back, knowing that they need a good drive to at least get into field goal range and tie it up. However, East Pennsboro, a couple plays there, throws the INT straight to Mason Hoffer, and that seals the deal. West Prairie rounds up the clock, and they get a thrilling 27-28 victory at East Pennsboro to spoil the Panthers' homecoming game. That comes in at number 2 in West Prairie Boys' top 5. Remember in 2024-2025 school year for West Prairie Athletics, we had 2 state championships. The first one was for West Prairie Field Hockey, as they had a dominant year to win their first ever state championship in program history. Then later in the winter, Tyler Morrison became the first West Prairie wrestler in school history to win an individual state championship. It was also the first time that any team in West Prairie had an individual state championship in any sport. Well, now, for the first time in program history for West Prairie Track and Field, we have one individual winning 2 state championships. That individual is Hayden Krager. He comes in at number 1 for our boys' top 5, and it was no surprise, really. For Hayden Krager, as a junior a year ago, he knew they had opportunity to make history for West Prairie Track and Field. He came up a little bit short, but still did fantastic. Now, for his last season, for his senior year, he knew he had one last shot to make history, and he did exactly just that. In the ambulatory shot put and discus competitions at the PIAA State Championships at Shippensburg University, where Hayden Quaker was in both the shot put and discus ambulatory events, and he crushed it in the shot put competition. He had a best throw of 25 feet and 5 inches, and then in discus a whopping 65 feet and 4 inches to win both events and win the first state gold medals in West Prairie Track and Field history. Congratulations to Hayden Quaker. He is our number 1 spot in the West Prairie Boys top 5. It really is amazing how fast time flies by. We just wrapped up year number 6 for Westbury Broadcasting, and next year is lucky number year 7 for Westbury Broadcasting. We've seen some amazing moments in the last 6 years, some amazing moments from this past year, and now year number 7 is about to start. It's coming up in August with Westbury football. 6 home games for Westbury football coming up this fall. You also got Westbury boys and girls soccer coming back in action. Our first soccer broadcast of the year is a big one, a rematch of last year's District 3 first round playoff match at Mustang Stadium for Westbury girls soccer against East Pennsboro. Westbury boys soccer will look to regroup after a nice season last year, 8 wins, no overtime like I mentioned earlier for soccer starting next year. And you also got Westbury field hockey. They are going into a new division, the Mid-Penn Capital, where we will see 2 times a rematch of a state championship game, both on the road and at Mustang Stadium, as Westbury field hockey will take on Bowling Springs along with several other new teams in the Mid-Penn Capital division. Westbury volleyball, they keep getting better since we started the broadcasting for Westbury volleyball, and Westbury cross country. Let's see how they do as well. It all starts this August, and have a great summer, and we'll see you in the year 2026-27.